All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for keeping you waiting. It's time to get started with more Sakamoto Days. Because I got Hunter x Hunter after this, and then everything else I got to do for just today alone. Let's begin, shall we? Good to see you in Kratos. Yo, peoples! Qushu92 here. Welcome back to Sakamoto Days. In the last chapter we had of the series, we had Sakamoto fighting Uzuki, and there's this idea that something within Uzuki is about to fully awaken, and it's going to be incredibly dangerous, simply because this is the prediction from Atari, saying that something deep within Uzuki is about to awaken, and he will not be able to be stopped by then. The other prediction, while we have Sakamoto fully fighting Uzuki, who somehow has the grip of Takamoto on the sword, and he's wondering, like, with all these personas that he has, which thoughts are actually mine and which ones belong to other personas. Sakamoto is, still fighting Uzuki, but Atari's second prediction is, my other prediction is that Taro Sakamoto will die. And that's how we ended the last chapter. So let's see what happens with Days 266, No Limit. And it cuts back to Atari saying,
"In this battle, Taro Sakamoto will die."
And then Boiled grabs her immediately and goes, "Come on now, cut the crap. He ain't gonna die." And Kindaka is grabbing him, like trying to calm him down. "I can eyeball the worthiness of anyone's hard-boiledness." And this is Boiled's very own measurement, because it says hard-boiledness, a measurement that indicates how hard-boiled you are. "I can eyeball the worth of anyone's hard-boiledness. It doesn't matter who he's up against. He ain't the kind of guy to give up the ghost at a time like this." And then Kindaka's looking like, "Boiled."
"I'm sorry."
And it shows Atari gripping onto her pants and kind of wincing at this proclamation.
"But the prediction is 100% accurate."
Because remember, when we ended the last chapter, Sakamoto and Uzuki got launched directly onto a roller coaster, and it shows the roller coaster basically blowing up from their fighting. And Sakamoto is just standing there, apron still on, and Uzuki speaks. "You're getting sluggish. Why don't you just give up? You haven't forgotten that I stabbed you through the heart, have you? Normally, it'd take days of rehab just to regain the ability to walk." "Yeah, it hurts, but it is what it is. I promised a friend I'd stop you." And then Uzuki just glares at him. "You should choose your friends more carefully." As a roller coaster comes up behind him, and both Uzuki and Sakamoto jump up, but Uzuki takes this opportunity to jump towards Sakamoto. Hold on. But Uzuki launches towards Sakamoto in this instance, and he swings his sword directly towards Sakamoto's face, who looks like he's surprised that the sword is that close. And then we get another explosion on the roller coaster, and Sakamoto starts falling towards the ground because apparently Uzuki got his hand on the whip again. And he takes a piece of metal from the roller coaster, and then using his whip, launches it towards Sakamoto, who's also falling as well. And there's multiple points of impact on the ground, as Sakamoto skids to the ground and jumps away while Uzuki is close behind. And Sakamoto touches his apron and he takes his hand away to basically see. Hold on. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. It's just the app is not working like it should. But Sakamoto puts his hand on his chest and he takes it away and he sees that there's blood. Blood on his hands. My wounds are reopening. I'm running out of time. Now what? And then Uzuki looks over. Oh, good lord. Um, 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 hold up. Wait. Wait a minute, 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 wait a minute. So much for the prediction that it's either going to be Nagumo or Gaku may running into each other to decide who gets to confront Uzuki. Gaku is Gaku. Gaku is here now, which confirms that when Kashima tried to put him to sleep, back to sleep so he couldn't interfere, Gaku ran them hands. And Kashima is nowhere to be seen because Gaku is literally just lands in between Sakamoto and Uzuki. And he has that same mace, that same mallet that he used to fight Takamura. He lands in between them. But Gaku is looking in the direction of Uzuki. And Uzuki is surprised and he goes, Gaku. And in an instant, Gaku swings on him. He swings on him immediately. Gaku swings on him and Uzuki immediately braces and the force puts Uzuki a little bit into the ground. And he looks at Gaku going, first, congratulations on your recovery. And then Gaku speaks. Bring out the old geezer, boss. I want to fight him. Sorry, but Mr. Takamura's gone. You came back just for that? Bring him back. I can't just conjure him whenever. And while Gaku's standing there, Sakamoto comes up to kick Gaku, and Gaku spins around and lands a hit on Sakamoto's face, sending him flying towards one of those attraction rides where it takes you up and it spins you in a chair. He grabs onto one of these chairs and uses this momentum to go at a high speed and launches straight towards Gaku and literally drop kicks him in the process. You're in the way. Beat it. What? And Gaku immediately gets angry from this. You two are such barbarians. And it just shows Uzuki. It shows Uzuki trying to get. They're all having fights. They're all having fun. Sakamoto is fighting Gaku while Gaku. I'm sorry, there's so much going on. Uzuki tries to swing at Gaku while Sakamoto is steady fighting him. They both are dodging Uzuki. Fine then. I've always wanted to have a showdown like this anyway, with the both of you. Gaku is here to run hands with everybody, both Uzuki and Sakamoto. And it just shows Sakamoto fighting Gaku. There's a lot of names in here, please forgive me if I flub them. But Sakamoto is fighting Gaku, and Sakamoto starts coughing out just a little blood. And he's thinking, uh-oh, if I always have to deal with this guy, then I won't last much longer. And while Gaku's preparing to punch Sakamoto, he stops. Because we have an individual walking in the there's no way. There's no way. we have an individual walking into the amusement park. And it's a slightly hunched individual, muttering unintelligibly to himself. And it's Takamura. This can't be him. This cannot be Takamura. This has to be Nagumo in disguise. This can't be Takamura. And it's not a ghost that only one person can see because everyone stops moving when they see him. Sakamoto goes, "What?" Uzuki goes, "Impossible. How the heck?" And then Gaku's looking like, "It's the geezer." And then when Gaku starts running towards Takamura, something comes to his recollection and he realizes, and Takamura goes past him and Gaku goes, "No, it's..." And just like I thought, it is indeed Nagumo, who proceeds to run a sword straight through Uzuki. Wow. Okay, so it's Nagumo who rushes past Gaku, and then Nagumo proceeds to impale Uzuki right then and there. And that's where the chapter ends. Wow. Okay. Huh? No, it can't be. Nagumo, is that you? Oh, Gaku realized too late. Ding, 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 it is Nagumo. I'm glad I don't be looking at chat when people either deny or confirm what I'm looking at before I actually get to that point. He stabbed him, let's go. Yes, Uzuki has been stabbed. So we start this whole thing with Boiled arguing with Atari, saying, like, there's no way that Sakamoto is going to die. And Atari says, "I'm sorry, but the prediction is 100% accurate." And what we get is Sakamoto, apparently noticed by Uzuki, getting slightly slower as the fight goes on. And Uzuki says, like, "You haven't forgotten that I stabbed you through the heart, have you? Normally it'd take days of rehab just to regain the ability to walk." And apparently him being up right now, it does indeed hurt him, because him recovering, he hasn't fully 100% recovered where it doesn't hurt. He is literally pushing his body, and it's running on adrenaline for God knows how long to allow him to actually be up and moving right now. And he says, "Yeah, it hurts, but it is what it is. I promised a friend I'd stop you." And Uzuki says, "You should choose your friends more carefully." And they just continue their fight with Uzuki regaining his chain whip and steadily fighting Sakamoto. And when Sakamoto is jumping away from Uzuki, we see that he's actually bleeding through his apron. So the wound that he suffered from Uzuki, his wounds it's actually starting to reopen. From all of this strenuous activity, it's actually starting to reopen again. So that very wound he suffered, he runs the risk of it actually starting to do more damage to him than the actual fight is. Because there is a considerable amount of blood in the palm of his hand. It's not just like in the center, it's like over his fingers and in his palm. So he's starting to bleed a whole lot more because the wound is opening back up again. And when Sakamoto thinks, "I'm running out of time, now what?" Thinking of what to do, Gaku just comes in out of nowhere and lands in between them. And he looks at Uzuki and starts fighting him. Doesn't even give him any words. He just immediately takes his mace and just squares up with him. Just right then and there. Nah, I chatted after you saw it. Yeah, I just say that as a precaution. Oh no, every time when I try to scratch my eye, why is it there's always one eyelash that's actually trying to get in my eye? Sorry. Don't be going spoiling things, you don't worry, I know. Now Gaku is going to want to throw hands with all three of them. I genuinely thought for a microsecond that was actually Takamura. I was actually concerned because we've seen what happens. We know that in this series, if a cut is super clean, you can actually get limbs attached. And even Takamura sliced his own hand off to get it unchained from the elevator when he was basically fighting everybody in the museum, and then he basically fought using that same arm that he himself sliced off. So we know the concept of getting a limb sliced off isn't a permanent end for that limb. So for a second there, I was thinking, maybe they figured out how to reattach his entire body, even though he got sliced through the arm and the torso. And basically, if you get sliced through your entire torso, that's a death sentence. The same way Musashi basically killed, well, the same way Musashi killed that one dude in that one particular enemy, in that one particular anime that has a character by the name of Yujiro Hama, because I don't know how many people have actually watched through Baki. The way he just sliced through him, I was thinking, there's no way that he survived getting cut like straight through his entire body, including his spine. There's literally no way. So I was thinking, it can't be Takamura. This has to be Nagumo. This has to be him. This has to be Nagumo. And it turns out to be right, because when Gaku immediately sees him, he goes like, it's the old geezer, and he starts running towards him. But then he senses that something is off about Takamura. He senses that something is majorly off, and he runs past him. And then this individual, they run past each other at high speed to the point where Nagumo is capable of blitzing Uzuki and then proceeds to just stab him through the chest. Just like stab him straight through the body. And here's the thing, Nagumo does not have those eye shines where he's like in a jovial mood or anything. No, he just has those basic blank eyes of like, I'm here to do some work. So he showed up, distracted everyone by looking like Takamura, and then used that moment of them lowering their guards to basically stab Uzuki through the chest. Now, whether or not this is going to be a considerable blow that actually stops Uzuki remains to be seen. Also, we don't see where Uzuki's weapons are in his hand, so we don't know if Nagumo allowed himself to get hit in order to bring this blow onto Uzuki, or what. We don't know that much. I do have two theories coming out of this with a prediction. There's that the first and most likely option being Sakamoto beats Fate and beats Uzuki by himself, or option 2, a caveat to that prediction, and that being that if Sakamoto fights Uzuki alone, he dies, but what if it's multiple people to take down Uzuki? Because if that was the actual Takamura, he'd be attacking Gaku straight away instead of going past him or doing an attack that hits all three of them. Yeah, that's how strong Takamura actually was. He was so strong, he could fight multiple people all at once, keep them at bay all at once, and defend himself all at once from multiple angles. That's just how strong he was. He was literally the strongest person in all of Sakamoto days. That's how strong he was. And given the fact that Gaku more than likely had bloodlust in order to fight, and he desperately desired to fight Takamura, Takamura would have sliced him apart in that instance, because Gaku is strong, but not to the point where he was actually able to beat Takamura. That was Uzuki. The whole reason why Gaku was in a coma was because of Takamura. So if it actually was him, then Gaku would not have been able to run past him completely unscathed, because that's just how fast and how powerful Takamura is. But seeing that this chapter ends with Uzuki basically getting stabbed through the chest by Nagumo, and he's the one who said he wanted to make his way over there, I just didn't think it was going to be this quickly. I honestly thought that there was going to be like a bit of a skirmish between Nagumo and Gaku on who was going to be able to run up on Uzuki first. And they both show up at the amusement park in this chapter. And only Nagumo is the one to deal like what may be a serious blow against Uzuki, because I mean he's getting stabbed straight through his back, okay? It's not like he's stabbing next to the spine. It looks like it's coming straight through the back, through the spine itself. But there's still one lingering thought from the last chapter. Remember, in the last chapter, Atari did say that something is going to awaken within Uzuki. What if this wound he is suffering is going to be the catalyst to cause that to happen? I do worry what happened to Kachima. I mean, it seems like he got off-screened, but is he knocked out or put to sleep instead? Or is he dead? I don't think so. He's probably coming in just like how Gaku or Nagamo came in. I mean, it might be hard for him to really keep up with Gaku, considering he's still rolling on those tank treads that Hana put him on. So his mobility isn't exactly on the same level it used to be when he had actual legs. So maybe he's on his way, or he could be subdued by Gaku and just completely knocked out, because Gaku was not having anyone put him on ice again in order for him to go confront the Sakamoto persona within Uzuki. So, more than likely, he's probably knocked out, if not dead. That's how I feel. He's probably knocked out. He did just take a stab close to the heart, so it's definitely a fatal wound. Yeah, where Uzuki is getting stabbed is literally in a section where a lot of major organs are. I mean, he's getting impaled. It's not just him getting stabbed into one section. It's literally going through the front of his body, and you see the sword come out the back. So if he severed the spine, that you cannot jump around with a severed spine. Okay, that sort of bone you cannot move around whatsoever. One, if you sever the spine completely, then the lower half of your body loses all synapse responses from the rest of your body to even move. It loses that. And the way Nagamo is stabbing him, it looks like it, because it doesn't look like the way this panel looks. One could argue like, oh, he's got both of his legs together, so maybe he's leaning off to the side. But no, that's just one pant leg as he's standing and bracing himself. And Nagamo's just stabbing him through the body. And what chapter is this? 266. Y'all think we making it to 270? Y'all think we making it to chapter 270 after this? After seeing Nagamo stab straight through Uzuki? And to think that the only other person who was capable of injuring Uzuki in such a way, mind you, Sakamoto was able to draw blood from him, but he didn't stab him in any way. Nagamo is not, he don't roll with the Sakamoto family rules where it comes to like no killing. He goes for killing blows. And to think that the one to land a potentially serious blow against Uzuki just so happened to be another member of the group that Uzuki was a part of that also included Rion. I don't think this gets resolved in 4 chapters. We'll have to see. Because I was expecting to have some chapters dedicated to Nagumo and Gaku running into each other first and then getting to Sakamoto and company. But they showed up in this chapter itself. Also, I'm so happy for Nagumo. This was a long overdue stab for him. You know, deep down, he's so happy about that. Not only that, but didn't Nagumo try to go for the stab for Uzuki back at the museum? When they encountered each other in the museum, didn't Nagumo try to go for the stab then, or tried to deliver a stab to him since then? Hold on, I gotta double check. I actually have to double check. Because I think Nagumo actually tried to go for the stab even back then. Hold on, let me see if I can find the chapter, the museum arc. Okay, it's past the 40s, 140s. Let me see if I can go to the 150s. Because it's when Nagumo... Okay, this is chapter 154. Oh! Yeah! He did! It's chapter 154! Perfect! Chapter 154. It literally starts this chapter with Nagumo stabbing Uzuki straight through the body. From the back. He then returned this same stab, stabbing him through the front, out the back. And this is when Uzuki came across his brother Asaki. Days 154 Maniacs. Nagumo stabs Uzuki through the back. And that was the last time. That was the last time. But also, Nagumo was, and mind you, Uzuki was walking away going, "How could you?" And Nagumo was going like, "What's going on? I stabbed him through the heart. Why isn't he dead?" And then, of course, this chapter has like the different members of Alkamar coming in to fight: Haruma, Kumanomi, and Shishiba, and everyone else. And they're fighting. Let me see if I can find another one with Nagumo in there. Nah, this ends with Amane. Yeah, this pretty much ends with many other members of Alkamar coming in to fight as well. But chapter 154 is where Nagumo stabbed Uzuki through the back, intent on piercing him through the heart. I wonder if he learned this time and truly got him this time in terms of, taking him out fully. Let me see if there's another chapter with Nagumo. This is a fight just dealing with Shin versus Haruma. And then chapter 158 ends with Shin bodying Haruma. I'm trying to get back to the one with... I'm trying to see if I can find the other one with... Another one with Nagumo during this whole arc. Oh, I also remember when Kumanomi got bodied by Mr. Shishiba. Next one, I think, is the one where Osaragi showed up. Here it is. Okay, so in the vault, this is chapter 161. In the vault, Nagumo's looking at Uzuki, who apparently got stabbed through the heart, yet he's still alive, and he's thinking the laceration should have penetrated his heart. Why isn't he dead? And this is when Uzuki starts laughing, and he's changed into the Rion personality. His eyes change, and his whole personality changes to that of Rion. And that's at near the end of chapter 161. In chapter 162... In chapter 162, let me go back. Chapter 162, the Rion personality speaking to Nagumo, going, "That's weird. Uzuki, you never struck me as having much of a sense of humor, but that impression of Vakao is so detailed. I don't know if it reads. What a bummer. Here you are, the son of a famous spy family. You can't even recognize a friend." And here's the thing: Nagumo goes like, "How'd they know that? Their speech, expressions, posture, mannerisms, all of them are identical to Akao's. What's going on?" And Uzuki Akao is looking for Sakamoto. "Oh, so a little while back, I ran into him in Thailand. What a hassle to explain." "Huh? What?" "Oh, come to think of it, he got married and has a kid now. Is his wife cute? What does the kid take after? Who does the kid take after?" So he finally lost... Yeah. One-sided conversation, rapid fire with no tact whatsoever. That's Akao. And then Asaki is saying, "Kill her. What's with the relaxed small talk? What are you doing inside of K? You died back then. I saw it." And when this happens, Uzuki's saying like, "It then kill me again. Why beat around the bush? You creepy ghost." And then Sakamoto apparently falls through a hole in the floor and lands directly on Asaki and knocks him out completely. But I said all of that to say this. Back in the museum arc, he survived getting stabbed by Nagumo. So I wonder if Nagumo actually adapted. And tried to go straight for where the heart is, or go for something at least just as permanent as stabbing through the heart. But this has been festering inside him ever since he saw Uzuki again, and especially when he first saw the real personality surface. Oh yeah, Uzuki has a displaced heart. I keep forgetting that, which is weird because it's such a pivotal plot point. It's how he survived that stab wound for Sakamoto and that one from Nagumo. So, does this mean that Nagumo aimed for the displaced heart this time, or did he miss again? That's the big question. Because if I go to Kei Uzuki and go to, let's see, appearance. Okay, trivia. Let's see. Here it is. Uzuki suffers from several medical conditions that have allowed him to survive otherwise fatal attacks and have access to combat abilities he normally does not have. Suffers from dissociative identity disorder, which allows him to manifest alternate personas and use any combat abilities that he has witnessed. He has manifested at least 2 personas throughout the story. The process of persona creation is unclear, though it appears that Uzuki requires being under extreme stress in order to adopt and or create a persona. It is likely Uzuki also needs to be interacting with the person during the stressful situation in order to create the persona, as all revealed personas so far have been copies of known characters that Uzuki has interacted with in stressful situations. Let's see. Uzuki's personas adopt many facets of the person, and the persona is of the person and the persona is based on. Uzuki's Rion personality is carefree and aloof like she is, even remembering some facts which inexplicably only Rion should know. Uzuki's Takamoto personality has his habit of unintelligible muttering. Uzuki's facial features significantly change as well, though his overall expression remains the same, so it is unclear if these are actual changes or this is merely a stylistic choice. These personas surface in different ways or triggers. Here it is. Uzuki suffers from situs inversus, which is a medical condition in which a person's major internal organs are reversed or mirrored from their normal positions. This is a rare condition that is not widely known, which is how Uzuki survived attacks that would normally be fatal for Sakamoto and Nagumo, as they targeted non-vital areas for Uzuki that are normally vital. So there it is. Situs inversus. That's what he has. So it remains to be seen if Nagumo stabbing him actually does the job this time and hits something vital, or if this is just going to be another instance of Uzuki surviving again. And mind you, while this is going on, Gaku is still an active player here because he's not just running past Takamura. He's not just running past Nagumo. He still wants to fight Takamura. Knowing that Nagumo is the fake Takamura, it's not going to bring him that satisfaction of fighting the old man himself. So, more than likely, Gaku is going to stay, if not to fight both Sakamoto and Uzuki, but also Nagumo, because if I remember correctly, Gaku got a little bit dusted by Nagumo as well, so he has 3 people that basically manhandled him. One has a personality of an individual who absolutely destroyed him. So there are 3 significant people in Gaku's life that he wants to fight right now. Mainly Old Man Takamura, but also Sakamoto as well. And now Nagumo's in the mix. So we got 4 people, with one wanting to throw hands with all the other 3. So this went from being Sakamoto versus Uzuki to Sakamoto versus Uzuki and Gaku, with Nagumo in the mix. Yeah, I don't know if his other organs are in different places, but his heart is definitely on the right instead of the left. Yeah, we don't know about the rest of his internal organs. I mean, most organs tend to still be centered in the body itself, with the heart just being mainly up here, but for him, it's over here. So it remains to be seen if Nagumo actually got him this time. It remains to be seen. It just looks that way. The action is going to be peak. Oh, yes, it is. Gaku is one of the most powerful individuals among Alkmaar. Because like I said before, the three strongest people from the Alkmaar orphanage is Uzuki, Tenkyu, and Gaku. Everyone else is strong, but they're not those three people strong. And now we have Gaku who's back and in fighting shape again. Sakamoto is starting to get a little bit more sluggish because of how much fighting he's been doing. Nagumo just showed up because he had a chance to like fully rest after basically killing Oki. He went to his place and he chilled. He had a chance to get some rest again before he showed up, and then stabs Uzuki in the chest. And Uzuki has been fighting nonstop because Sakamoto is the last person he needs to deal with that actually stands a chance of fully stopping him. And of course, they're having their little retorts towards one another, and Uzuki doesn't understand that the writing's on the wall, that he ain't gonna live to see tomorrow. If Sakamoto ain't the one to kill him, Nagumo is here to do it. And if it ain't Nagumo, then we can add Gaku to the mix too. Because ain't no way Gaku's gonna beat down the Sakamoto personality and not kill him. Because Gaku kills everybody. So, since we're not going on break, I do wonder what happens. Will Sakamoto let Nagumo actually kill Uzuki? Is the question. If not, how is Nagumo going to react? Maybe they bicker as they hold off Uzuki and Gaku. Possibly, but Sakamoto doesn't have a lot of time because his wounds are starting to open up more and more. The same wound that basically is where his heart is. And if that opens up, it is going to be very bad for him. Because if your wound opens up back near your heart, that's a lot of pain. That's a lot of pain coming towards you, especially when you're resting. And he might go back into another coma again if he ain't careful. But what we have here is an instance where we have two individuals who are probably going to be facing off against each other, if not three, against one person. So it should be interesting to see where Sakamoto Days goes from here. Considering we're not going on break. I can't wait. Gaku, I still can't believe it. Gaku is here already. Gaku is here already. I can't wait to see what happens in the next one. But that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my overall opinion for Sakamoto Days. It's either going to happen one way. Either Gaku is going to try and throw hands with everyone after realizing that Sakamoto himself is now gone, and he wants to really draw out the Sakamoto persona within him, even though Uzuki says, like, he's gone. It's so weird to think it's a mixture of a triple threat tag team handicap matchup. It really is. It really is. So we're going to have to see how the story goes from here. But overall, very good chapter of Sakamoto Days. I enjoyed this one. Time for me to get started with Hunter x Hunter, and then One Piece reaction, and then done. And then I can pass out and go to sleep, because I'm tired. Unless Nagumo and Sakamoto start fighting too, but I just don't see that happening as well. I don't see Nagumo and Sakamoto fighting each other. They'll probably bicker, but Sakamoto isn't the one to just get into fights with people he considered his friends, especially Nagumo. He'll argue with him, but not much point for him to just, actually start fighting him. So we're gonna have to see. How things progress now that we have two additional people who are here for this fight that will basically decide the fate of all of the JAA and pretty much all of Japan as a whole. Should be interesting. Can't wait to read it next week. No breaks for any of these. I have to check and see if there's any break going on with Hunter x Hunter as well. But this was a good chapter, and I am looking forward to the next one. To everyone who has come here today, especially if you're new, this is just how I happen to do reactions if you're wondering why I'm not showing images. One, because I don't want any copyright troubles, and two, there are ample locations for you to be able to check those out for yourself so you can follow along with me. Other than that, I'm done for today with Sakamoto Days. Got to get started with Hunter x Hunter, and that's going to be a long one because Hunter x Hunter chapters are basically chapter books. But yes, I enjoyed this, and I hope you did as well. Hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and only if what I did here was even worthy of that to you. check out my membership and my Patreon because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples, on to Hunter x Hunter!